Dude, I said it was getting worse in the last video we talked about this guy, but I think now it really has gotten worse. Today we're going over to the Calgary Flames and talking about their former head coach Darryl Sutter once again. And the reason we're bringing this up for, what is this, like the fourth time now, is because of this article published on The Athletic from 2 days ago. How a fiercely defiant Darryl Sutter lost the room and his job in Calgary. This was written by The Athletic staff. And if you want the specifics, the first line says by Katie Strang, Julian McKenzie, and Haley Salvian. So shout out to those three for coming together and writing this piece. Of course, The Athletic is paid for material, so the link is going to be in the description if you want to go ahead and read this, and if you have The Athletic. But the reason we're bringing this article up is because you actually had a bunch of the material in this article posted publicly on Twitter to 100,000 different viewers by Fiery Breadman's Twitter account. Now, it's crazy. Like, I don't even have the words to verbally describe how off-putting it is to be able to read what it is that we're going to be reading, and I'm gonna just say it straight up. What Fiery Breadman does is he pretty much just screenshots most of the article and puts it out all on Twitter. And that's not really the proper way to go about this and read Athletic articles, but it is here. A lot of people did retweet this, a lot of people liked this, and so because it's out there available on the internet now for free, I'm technically allowed to do this. So we're going to go and read through most of this piece and just talk about what other stuff was under the surface here with Darryl Sutter and his time as the Calgary Flames head coach. The first screenshot goes out there and talks about how Sutter would make derisive comments towards his team. Now, that's a funny word. What does that mean? Derisive is like mocking or ridiculing, expressing contempt towards his players, both publicly and privately, seemingly to single out players and, in some case, to embarrass them. In November, the franchise launched an internal investigation to probe an incident after Sutter allegedly made physical contact with a player on the bench during a game. So yeah, hold up, he actually hit a guy. Or the investigation was on whether or not he hit a guy. Sutter's relationship with general manager Brad Treliving, who brought Sutter to Calgary in 2021, reportedly deteriorated to the point that it played a role in Treliving's decision to leave the organization after the season concluded. The next screenshot in the first tweet says, that loss was the beginning of a 7-game skid, and Sutter's berating and erratic behavior increased. By November, the team became aware of an incident in which he was alleged to have made physical contact with a player on the bench during a game, according to 3 league sources who were granted anonymity because they were not authorized to speak about the matter. Players and staff members were interviewed about the alleged incident. According to multiple league sources, the player told his teammates he did not find the contact to have crossed the line and did not want to see the matter escalated. The player did not return the Athletic's request to speak with him. And so, the player in question here, whom we're not going to go out there and label, we don't know who this is going out there and saying that it happened, but he's saying that it didn't really cross a line and he doesn't want to see it escalated. Okay, firstly, I think it's good that the player is able to talk about this in a seemingly non-distressed manner. At the same time, I'm not going to go out there and look at this player and say, oh, this player should be upset about it. He should be interested in giving extra punishment to Darryl Sutter because the guy was hit. Obviously, I wasn't there. We don't know what really happened. But the fact that there was an investigation done internally about Darryl Sutter hitting a guy on the bench, that kind of crosses a few lines in my book. I don't know about you. You could talk about old-timey coaches, he's old-fashioned style, he talks to his guys, he whips them in the shape, like stuff like that, right? But it's 2023. Come on. You could say people are soft nowadays, you could say people need to toughen up nowadays, but that's not the world we live in anymore. Like, sure, behavior like that might have been able to fly years ago, but not now. Not in 2023, there are investigations done, and everybody's interviewed in situations like these. Darryl Sutter hit one of his players, and I'm going to say it like that because the player himself acknowledged he doesn't feel that the contact crossed the line, but that just means that there was contact made in the first place, right? Right? Is that not the proper way to think about it? But either way, there are some more screenshots on this Twitter thread by Fiery Breadman The next screenshot says this: Sutter, in a text message, denied the allegation. Pretty clear that everyone that knows me knows that none of that is true. It's disappointing to hear. He declined to comment further about his time in Calgary, but added that the Flames are a good hockey club, missed the playoffs by a couple of points, finished 11 games over 500 in a tough division that won the Stanley Cup. The next screenshot reads this: players were asked about Sutter's actions beyond that particular incident. What became of that probe is unknown. The Flames did not return a request for comment, but at the least, unrest within the locker room and concern about Sutter's conduct was now squarely on the team's radar. So after that entire hitting incident happened, it appears that there was sort of unease building in the Flames locker room. Despite the changes, the Flames struggled. Part of Sutter's earlier success was knowing when to push and when to let up, but as the losses continued, he didn't relent, instead ratcheting up his intensity. Some players thrived under Sutter's exacting coaching style, feeling it was that type of accountability needed to excel. Others rejected it, feeling it was an ineffective way of coaxing the most out of a team. There were other players who saw both sides: a hard, old-school coach whose methods may now be considered outdated. A sense of heaviness pervaded the room, and the rink did not feel like a positive environment. The next screenshot says that team sources and those who have spoken to Treliving said his strained relationship with Sutter played a part in his departure. Around the time of Treliving's exit, so a few weeks ago actually, players met with Maloney and made plain that Sutter was a problem, that an unbridgeable divide had formed between coach and players. Maloney also interviewed staff members, agents, and Sutter himself before putting an end to the coach's second stint with the team on May 1st. It was 2 months before his 2-year contract extension, signed before the season, was set to begin. The Flames will reportedly pay him approximately $8 million over the next 2 years. The last screenshot goes over a few more conversations. More of it was guys realizing what we had going was broken. Whether you liked Darryl or didn't like Darryl, it was pretty black and white that something was needed to change, or it was going to be the exact same story. Blake Coleman said, "Personally, I'll be the first one to say it. I thought we also needed a coaching change," Uyghur said on the Missing Curfew pod in May. Nikita Zadorov told a Russian sports outlet in May that he liked playing for Sutter, but that Sutter no longer fit our team. And so, yeah, I know, we read most of the article, but there are some extra things that are also going to be talked about in that piece that aren't really screenshotted here and put onto Twitter. But yeah, do you now see why I'm making this video? It's kind of crazy how more crap keeps coming out about this guy ever since the season ended and ever since he was fired. That he absolutely lost the room, how the room was not a positive environment, how he allegedly hit a guy, how there was a very strong conversation going on about whether or not this guy lost the room, how players felt singled out and embarrassed, and players in their exit interviews straight up said, yeah, he is a problem. He does not know, or he lost our room. He doesn't have the capacity to really fix what we have. It's an unbridgeable gap. This is wild. When was the last time you saw a coaching firing get so much attention after the fact, have so much follow-up and so many articles and other things written about it that illuminate different parts of the tenure that we did not know about previously? Like, I know it's a Canadian market type of thing, but when Mike Babcock was fired, we didn't see this much crap about him. Sure, there was the Mitch Marner incident, but that I feel like came out when the guy was still coaching too, right? In Vancouver, Travis Green, okay, maybe Bruce Boudreau. There was a lot of drama there, but not really because of anything Boudreau did, but because of the team. Like, Brad Treliving, Darryl Sutter, this story keeps on getting bigger after the fact, and that blows my mind. And so if you're a Calgary Flames fan, link is going to be in the description, of course, if you want to go ahead and read the article and you want to see more about what happened, but let me know your thoughts in the comment section below based off of what we have read. What are your opinions about this entire thing here with Sutter and the alleged incident of him hitting a guy, how that guy didn't really think it was that big of a deal, but still, the guy acknowledged that it did happen, how players all knew it, the guy did not have the room, it was a toxic environment, or not toxic, but not a positive environment, and how do you think this new coaching staff is going to change that? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this Juraj 9, and bye.